Morning guys, it's early, 7:30, I'm off to Spain.
Slow down, stepping up my game. Tied to you, try not to sink on through the cracks. And maybe I could forget this time.
Shall I take it off completely first?
I don't know, do whatever works. This is gonna look really good.
Oh my god! Oh my god, I'm freaking out right now, Dave. I just don't want to mess it up.
You won't mess it up. You can't mess it up. Okay, so I haven't really explained anything. I am here in Spain. I flew into Madrid, went through Zaragoza to come and see Virginia.
I'm gonna go get a screwdriver.
And yes, and this is her family home of 6 generations in a village called Frescano. It's right here on the edge of the Pyrenees. It's a beautiful, beautiful place to be. We are here for the week, as I'm gonna do 1 week each. Listen to those birds. Each 1 week a month, I'm gonna be hanging out with different people in different places, trying to help them figure out how we can build this kind of Corcovado network. Virginia actually did all the illustrations for the Corcovado handbook, and the little icon that I'm using in the bottom right corner of this video, and at the end of the videos, that's all Virginia's illustrations. She has an amazing Instagram called Friends of Virginia, which you should check out. I'll put it in the link below. But yeah, I'm here this week with Virginia, just trying to figure out what to do here to make this a house of creativity, of openness, to help bring new life and flourishing to this village of 300 people. We sat and met her cousin Jorge earlier, who is a broccoli farmer, and he is gonna bring us some broccoli, or hopefully we'll go pick it ourselves. We're just thinking about how can we get people together to be creative, to connect with nature, and see what we make, and see if we can make a valid contribution. Look at these birds. So yeah, it feels quite different. It feels so good to feel like I'm part of a network and not just alone in my endeavour, especially because it's not been the easiest getting going over there at Brenda's. Feels good to be in a similar place that feels at home, but in a different country altogether.
There's something about your love. Can you feel it all? There's something about your love.
Corcovado is a state of mind. So you come through here with the intention to create, to connect with nature, to make something beautiful, basically. And what better, I mean, it's perfect. Like in the olden days, sometimes we talk about things that we have above the doors, but this is like a way of seeing, a way of reminding you the story that you're really a part of.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's perfect.
Dave. Thank you, Sophia. Thank you, Dave.
I know, Sophia, you made these stickers. I'm going to show you guys the other one, actually. I carry it around everywhere with me in my laptop case. But this is the other one, and I guess I could stick it, I'm going to put this in Brenda's somewhere. These are Virginia's drawings. This is Virginia. These are her drawings.
That's my handwriting.
So thank you, Sophia, and I think Mark, I apologize if I got your name wrong, in Berlin for making these. So this is like the global community in action. A Swedish girl goes to Germany, to Berlin, to a makerspace, makes some stickers, comes to London, gives them to me in London. I come to Spain and then put them on a window in Spain. If that isn't the kind of at least European community in action, then I don't know what is. We have been having a really good conversation about, as we went through Zaragoza yesterday and as we wake up today and talking, we're talking about what is the real voice of Spain? What is the natural voice of Spain before people brought all their power structures in? Speaking with Thomas, Virginia's uncle, last night, he was saying that there was a natural or indigenous people to this area called the Isidro people, and they're actually on the hills just on the side of this village is a Ibro settlement. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the mayor is going to go and take us up and have a look around some of the places. But it also got me thinking about my roots, because I was born in South Africa. Half of my family is there, and the other half is in Wales, and they're the ones I'm most close to. I'm not really English at all, even though I've spent most of my time in Surrey. And it's really making me want to reconnect with my Welsh and Celtic roots, because I didn't realise that there's a real big Celtic force here in northern Spain as well. I always thought it was just Irish and Scottish and Welsh. It really makes me want to reconnect with that root. So if any of you guys are watching this from Wales and you are thinking about some kind of creative alternative retreat, a V1 type setup, or you've got some kind of rural house, farm kind of setup, like a V2 type thing, whatever it is, please do get in touch, because I would love to come over and support that. Will you tell them what you just told me, Virginia?
I just said that you said something historically incorrect.
Not the first time, and it won't be the last.
Yeah, it's not that the Christians came into Spain. The Romans were not religious for many, many hundreds of years before Christianity came in. So Spain was a part of the Roman Empire before it actually became Christian.
Okay. So, factually incorrect, but the essence is true. Like, there was a natural voice, people of the land here, before these empires started coming in and trying to get their piece of the pie. I guess I'm realising coming here that it's really important to me to get back to and connect with that kind of base layer of that identity. Almost if you imagine a place being like a child, the untapped, unfiltered dreams and personality and aspirations of that child before life did its thing to that person. And I think we're onto something. We're going out with the man. Please. He has given me the key to the village. I've never seen a better key in my life. Last night, Virginia's uncle gave me this, a leather pouch for the adventure that he made himself, where he sourced the leather himself from Salamanca. It has the perfect consistency. When you come to a new place, it really matters how you enter and how you're welcomed, and I couldn't have asked for a better welcome to come and join Virginia. These are the hills where the Ibero settlements were, the original native Spanish voice.
He's requesting you to take a video of that.
The sign?
The sign.
Why do I take a video of the sign?
So that people know where it is.
Okay, for why though? There may be some political thing I don't understand. Parque Arqueológico de la Edad de Hierro de Frescano Aquadromo. Perfect?
Arqueódromo.
I'm feeling like an astronaut.
So the Celts came down to the southern parts of Europe because it was really cold. So they came here and then they mixed with the Iberos.
Yeah.
So Celta plus Ibero, Iberian Ibero, is Celtíberos. And those are the people who inhabited here and who created the first settlements in Spain, because before they just like random, like 3 houses there, 4 houses there, and they decided to come together as a community in mountains or like higher peaks.
And we're cooking. Look at this little mini amphitheatre. We could do some very nice little outdoor music things. Wow, that is, this is my kind of jam.
Esparto.
Oh, it's very tough. Oh, it's tough.
You just can't break this.
I can't.
But that's because you're quite weak.
I think I spy some solar. Everyone loves a bit of solar, don't they?
And maybe I should.
I think this is the cabin where they recreate the Ibero settlement.
Then maybe I could get out.
Now we're talking. So I'm going to link it below if you haven't seen it, but it looks like primitive technology. Probably my favourite YouTube channel. Alright guys, this is like a little chicken coop. And this is where the old Iberos would live. Wow.
You do a bit of brick,
Paredes de ramas,
trees,
y luego el barro,
and then some
el
clay.
barro con la paja
tirado
así a mano. ¿Vale?
Okay, so bricks and then trees and then clay.
Clay with hay.
Clay with hay.
Yeah.
This is definitely the size that I'm talking about. 7 or 8 stools, that kind of size table. I just don't think you can have a bigger shape that has everybody engaged. What the heck is this? But we are in what seems like some kind of sanctuary. So this is a tomb for one person. Once they've burnt them, they would bury them like this, protect the space. The further you go back in history, before the Christendom, before the empires, the more it seems that people got closer to nature, and some people would worship creation itself, Mother Nature you might call it, and some people would worship the Creator. And I guess somewhere around that bit, before it all gets totally separated and materialistic, is where my interest lies. If you guys know anything about the Ibero people, or the Celto-Iberians, however you say that, please do stick some links in below. I'd love to learn a bit more.
There's something about your love. Can you feel it all? There's something about
Take a souvenir. I think pine trees have become my favourite tree now, or at least my most familiar.
When the Romans came,
Yeah.
they completely exterminated all the Iberos. I suppose there weren't many.
I guess that's the kind of opposite spirit of what I hope to do as we travel the world, as we support people like Virginia and plenty others to set up their spaces and to contribute to the towns that they're a part of, or villages or provinces or wherever it may be. I guess I want to come in the opposite spirit of the Romans and the Christians at the time, and come in to support what is already here, what is already here in nature, what's already here in the way of food, what is creation already doing, and how can we support and encourage that to see it flourish. I guess you could say anybody traveling to any other place or connecting into it, if they're trying to suppress or destroy what's already there, it's probably not something I want to be a part of. In fact, I'd probably go as far to say it's something that I would actively seek to suppress myself. I guess the only people that I don't want to work with, the only systems I don't want to collaborate with, are those that seek to control and destroy rather than to find and empower. And that's where all the good stuff is. Feels good before we go and see all the man-made stuff, to connect with the actual land for a little bit. Obviously always beautiful buildings spring up where there's beautiful nature. So it'll be no surprise if we see some cool buildings when we go back into the town.
There's something about your love. Can you feel it?
It's like an art installation.
There's something about your love. Can you feel it?
So it's weird, a building like this is dedicated supposedly for worship, yet the only thing that was alive in there was us. And then we come back out to these trees, and I don't know if it makes sense to you, but to me, everything in that building is completely dead. Everything out here is completely alive. It makes much more sense to me to try and connect to the creation or the creator in good company, rather than in a dead building that somebody else made and then died. It's a very beautiful building, that. We're actually on the top of the church, which they've converted some of into a museum. The Catholic Church in about the 1600s, they came and destroyed all the Arabs, the Muslims. Before that, Frescano was like 60-70% Muslim, 20-30% Jews, and just a couple of percent Christians. And they came in like a steam train and established themselves. I mean, this church, I'll show you, it's massive in comparison to the size of the village and how many houses and what else is here. So I guess what you do with a church building, central to the architecture, where there's been bloodshed, where there's been control and domination, what you choose to do, what story you tell, who you bring in, who you collaborate with in a building like this, in a village like this, absolutely defines the narrative of the future of the village. I'm just making this up, but if Virginia can get this unconverted space as like a studio or art thing, then I could believe that something fresh could come out of Frescano. So basically the mayor is showing Virginia around, kind of embracing her. Apparently there's a phrase in Spanish that means, I see you coming. And it kind of means I see where you're coming from, I see roughly intuitively what your ambitions are, and I like it. It's quite a bit easier, I must say, than what I'm currently experiencing on the ground at Brenda's, but whoa, this is pitch black, that's why you can't see anything. Going up some stairwell.
Check out the ceiling. It's actually, they invested in it.
Oh wow, look, they have done the ceiling up.
There's something about your love.
I mean, this is like an absolute massive palace. It makes Virginia's house look small. It must have something like 20 bedrooms in it. It would make an amazing hospitality place, really. You know, I can see Virginia living in her house, doing retreats out in the hills, getting in touch with the natural voice here, putting art shows on in that central building, and having people come and visit en masse here in the central square. But it's unbelievable that in such a small old village they have invested in the roof. It's almost like they're preparing and ready for someone like Virginia to come along to breathe a new generation of life back into the village. Very humbling to be here.
Y no estamos hablando ahora de política. No quiero que interpretes.
Well, it's an hour or two later and we're still discussing the future of the village. He's trying to figure out ways to fill and restore these buildings, and I felt like I'm here to tell him and Virginia that if they will honor and respect the natural voice of the land, the things that grow naturally there, the Ibero voice, then people will come and they will get the support they need, and this place will prosper, these buildings will be regenerated, and they will have a flourishing future here. This is the biggest sheet of white paper I've ever seen, and we're gonna try and map out everything that's going on for me, and then everything that's going on for Virginia, and then maybe we'll do a third piece of paper to try and see how those things join and where they join.
Do you want to explain your pine cone?
Well, it's been with us all day. It's a bit of nature coming with me when I go back into the man-made world. I've never seen broccoli like this before. It's actually in the plant itself. This is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful broccoli. Jorge specifically picked this beautiful broccoli for us. Thank you, Jorge. If you scoop out
Yeah, you scoop it.
the stem, the moment you cut it, then it's sweet.
Yes.
And I'm about to try it and I can't wait. And that is filled with olive oil, which has just gone, literally it's just broccoli and olive oil, right?
And that's a potato.
And a potato. That's really good.
It is.
That's the best broccoli I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
Did you just steam it?
It's not steamed, it's boiled.
Boiled. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's so soft.
Yeah.
It's so soft.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Seriously, guys, if you're from the UK, you haven't tasted broccoli yet. I'm telling you, this is a different gravy altogether. Woo. This is pure genius. It's washed.
It's almost washed.
Oh, straight in the cupboard. Because it freaking is a draining board from the cupboard to the sink. Tell me that isn't the most genius thing you've ever seen. I'm having this. I am getting one of these. It is absolutely silent here. I'm flabbergasted. This is better than California. I'm realizing that, singing in the church and listening to music and silence. I thought silence was just what I love, silence. I thought it was just that I love silence, but I've realised that there's a whole category of habits of singing, like in a church, just making sounds, or listening to music, or being in the quiet, that are all kind of pre-language, us describing and logically interacting with the world, that I love very much. And there's actually a book called Silence, which I read when I was away skiing, which I will put down below in the description. It's an incredible book of a trekker who went through the mountains in the Antarctic for 40 days on his own, and talking about how the silence changed his life. Okay, we have driven pretty much to the top of this mountain, and it is pretty outstanding. Next week I will be back in Brenda's cottage and I will be developing my stuff, but loads of stuff to learn from here. Once a month I'm going to be in different countries helping different people. We'll be updating the website to try and represent the developments of Corco being a network with, oh my gosh, it's so quiet. Different places, different bases. We've been thinking about the tour for November. Maybe we will do a Euro tour, and we'll let you know the dates. But I'm thinking a week here in Frascana, a week in Scotland, a week in France, a week in London or at Brenda's. But it feels really good to be connecting the dots. You're up for doing the odd video update, aren't you? So that I can slide it in these videos?
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you, Virginia.
Absolutely, yes.
Alright guys, I will see you next Thursday, 9 PM. Take care of yourselves.